ISIS bombs Sikh temple in retaliation for insults to the Prophet Muhammad. On June 18th, a Sikh temple in Kabul, Afghanistan, was attacked, leaving a Sikh devotee and a Taliban security officer dead and 7 injured. By the way, guys, we say ISIS just for the YouTube algorithm. We all know what bad group I'm talking about. Okay, so ISIS Khorasan, or ISIS-K, later claimed that the attack was a retaliation for the comments made by Nupur Sharma, a now suspended member of India's ruling party. In May, Sharma criticized the Prophet Muhammad and his marriage to a 6-year-old child during a televised debate. Her comments sparked violent protests in many states across India, leaving two teenagers dead. In a statement on the Telegram messaging app, ISIS-K claimed the attack was, quote, an act of revenge for insulting the Prophet Muhammad. Khalid Zadran, a spokesperson for the Kabul's police chief, said the security forces were able to act quickly to control the attack. Zadran also claimed that the Taliban forces neutralized the attackers in a short period. Zabihullah Mujahid, a Taliban spokesman, condemned the attack on the Sikh temple and called the attackers, quote, the enemies of the Afghan people. So I wanted to cover this one because this attack on this, I can never pronounce it right. A Sikh temple is called like a Gurdwara. That got a lot of news. And then it came out later that according to ISIS-K, this is actually in retaliation for this supposed insult and blasphemy. And I didn't even realize that there were still Sikhs left in Afghanistan at this point. Even before, last August when Kabul fell to the Taliban, there were only 300 Sikhs left in the country. And most of them have since fled. And now there's only a few families left who are still there and maintain the temple. And yeah, this attack was, enacted on them, even though it's so clear that they see no distinction between oh, this was a Hindu politician that said this, these people are Sikhs, doesn't matter, infidels, let's go attack them. Completely different communities, obviously religious communities, but more also just completely different nations, doesn't matter. We'll go attack them. Who cares? Yeah, I thought it's also Forever Stormy saying the fact that there was a Taliban security guard is probably the reason why they're still there. They were actually, part of what happened was that they had filled up a truck full of explosives and they were going to just go or run the car into the temple. But the truck exploded before they even got there. So that was major, mess up from their end. But obviously that probably saved way more lives. There were reportedly 30 people inside the temple at the time of the attack, but there was one self-deletion boom guy. That is my YouTube code for the people that explode themselves, who managed to throw a grenade into the temple, and so it killed a devotee and a Taliban security guy and injured numerous other people. Armin, do you have any thoughts about this?
Okay, some Higgs boson is saying self-deletion. What does that mean? Guys, we're using coded language because if you use the S, this word, that's why YouTube will punish us for it. So that's why we don't use it. How could you, I don't know what to say. It's obviously insane. How could you comment on this much more? Some people are pointing out that the Sikhs had nothing to do with it. Obviously, it seems like ISIS doesn't understand the difference between Hindus and Sikhs. But I don't like that comment because saying the Sikhs had nothing to do with it. I know you didn't mean it like that. The people in the live chat, but saying the Sikhs had nothing to do with it will kind of suggest that if this was a Hindu temple, then they had got it right. Okay, because it indirectly is promoting collectivism, because even if this was a Hindu temple, the Hindus had nothing to do with it either. Like we're like I don't know, I know you didn't mean it like that, but it's kind of like saying like, oh well at least they got the right people. Like, how is that the right people? These people have nothing to do with each other. I mean, separate from the fact that this is like this is nothing wrong for us to condemn anybody over, but even if it's not guilt by association, any kind of association wouldn't be legitimate. Whether it was like, so, hitting. I mean, this does show their ignorance about the difference between Sikhs and Hinduism. But even if they just by mistake had an Islamic mosque, for example, it would have been as relevant as them getting a Hindu temple. They would be as relevant. They could have hit a hospital, and it would have been as relevant as hitting a Hindu temple. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
It makes total sense. I think that's a very good point, because we shouldn't say, oh yeah, they got it wrong, like, because we don't want them to get it. We don't want them to punish any community because of the actions of some random other person, right?
Yeah, there's no way to get it right. Okay. But also another thing I want to point out is that, so what is the Taliban's role in this? They're like protecting the Sikh community, like they're trying to put.
They've had a lot of protection to this particular Sikh temple in Kabul for some time. So they are making an effort to have security, but unfortunately they don't have any skills for counterinsurgency, because I mean they were usually the insurgency. And they don't have the support of like other intelligence agencies helping them. Like one thing that I would like you to comment on, Armin, because this is one thing you're knowledgeable about, is just kind of like from the perspective of ISIS Khorasan signaling to the nation the capability of the Taliban to protect the citizenry, because I think that's a larger part of the story that's also very important.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so the Taliban is neither ideologically or experience-wise ready to do something like this. Like, I don't like protecting and creating stability is something that Taliban fighters have been doing for a while, for the past 20 years. Like, they're like, what ISIS is doing, Khorasan is doing, this is what the Taliban fighters have been doing for the past 20 years, and this is what they are comfortable with, creating chaos, not creating stability. So now
they're like, oh, how the turntables.
Yeah.
This isn't so fun when I'm on the other side of this equation.
But it's not just like we don't have experience with this. Like, so this is why ISISK or ISIS Khorasan will have some success, not in recruiting, because they're like, hey guys, do you not want to be on the side of attacking and creating chaos? Like, aren't you more comfortable with that role? Because a lot of these fighters are more comfortable with that role rather than guarding people and creating security. But ideologically also, they're putting Taliban in a position where they're protecting infidels. And a lot of Taliban sympathizers are not comfortable with that being like, what are we doing? Like, a lot of them are like, we're supposed to fight the infidels and like bring Islam. Now we're like protecting infidels. Like, this is not what I signed up for. This is not the pathway to heaven. I don't think so. So again, there is like an ideological, like, there's even a lot of Taliban members who are like kind of who are stressed out that they're not doing something Islamic, and maybe they're not even going to die in battle or something like that. Also, like, worse than protecting Sikhs, some of them are worried about the fact that they're being made to protect Shias. That is like what are
Oh
you
my
doing?
God.
What are we doing here? Who are we? Are we even Taliban anymore? Like they're looking in the mirror like, why am I protecting Shias? Is this like, should I follow God or should I follow my commands? Because the two don't seem to be different these days. Like, so again, there's an identity crisis. Taliban is turning in on itself. There are some people, but there's some people that want to go the old ways and be like harsh and Islamic, and there's some people like, we need international recognition, we need the money, and they're like, and some, and there's a rift, there's like an internal conflict. And again, the ISIS, by doing things like this, they know what to do because this might be seem like a small attack on the legitimacy of Taliban. But even the smallest attacks, I mean, not small because people died, but relatively to war, these are smaller attacks, like given what Taliban is used to. But this might be more effective at attacking Taliban than directly going to war with Taliban, right? Because, like, for example, if you attack the Shias or attack the Sikhs, you might think like, well, only one Talibani guard or soldier died. But again, it's a much bigger danger to Taliban doing these things than going into full frontal war with Taliban itself. Because in fact, that will strengthen the Taliban. Because, oh my God, thank God we have an enemy that we could unite against, right? But this causes division with the Taliban. So whoever these people are very smart about their strategy. So they might, again, so we were just saying that, oh, these people are stupid because they're attacking Sikhs instead of Hindus. They can't tell the difference. But I don't know, Susanna, I don't think there are Hindus in Afghanistan. Maybe
there used to be.
I know there used to be, but I think this might be like the closest India-related thing that they could find. Like maybe
Actually,
they are.
I don't know if there still are, but when there still were Hindus in Afghanistan, like at the time of the takeover, 100%.
I know at the time of the takeover, yes, but I think after, I heard I don't know, all of them or some of them left. I don't know if there's anything left. I mean, I'm just saying, like, maybe there wasn't that many options for them to pick up.
It's like ethnic cleansing.
Yeah, and also there's an earthquake, and people are saying, meanwhile, Afghans suffer endlessly. Yes. Yeah. But again, there were Bengali Hindu is saying there were Hindus at least 1 year ago. But what about now? I heard there's no Hindus left.
I would bet that there are a few stragglers. There are probably a few people left behind. If there were still some Sikhs, like there must be at least a few left behind as well. I was shocked.
So Bengali Hindu is saying they have been attacked even before this. Few Sikhs are left. No Hindus are left.
We're getting conflicting information.
Just very okay. No, they're getting confirmation. The Oxymoron is saying there are Hindus in Afghanistan, just very few. Oh, Babak is here. Hi, Babak.
Oh, Babak. Hey, Juna.
There's okay, they're still on the ground. Okay, there are few left guarding temples. Anyways, I hope India gets them, whatever Sikhs or Hindus are in Afghanistan, I hope India makes it easy for them to go to India if they wish to, and support them if they need to. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was actually kind of the point of the CAA, which was very controversial. Well, we can't even get into all that right now.
Yeah. So wait. Some people might be like, "Oh, see, yeah, you guys are seeing the point of the CAA."
I actually do see the point of CAA.
Yeah.
I actually do.
Yeah. Okay, no, the CAA is a good thing. It would have been better if, I don't know, some Shias wanting to escape Pakistan or some Sunnis wanting to escape Iran. It's like, I don't know, they're oppressed as well. So why don't you open the door to them, right? Like they are like no Muslims, thank you very much. So we're not against accepting refugees. We're against accepting refugees selectively. Okay. Oh, Oxymoron is saying they don't want to come to India. Yes, that's why I say if they want to come to India, I hope India makes that easy for them. But yeah, obviously if they don't want to.
And just to note, this is important. CAA doesn't apply here. It has a 2014 cutoff. True, but this kind of issue is part of the impetus behind it. Anyways,
Hmm.
Atheist Republic needs your help. We've been the target of many legal attacks by Hindu nationalists ever since our founder, Armin Navabi, blasphemed against Hindu deities. We've retained legal counsel to help us defend our access to our community in India. We have started a fundraiser that will help us afford to tackle many legal issues, including judicial harassment and censorship. Whatever you can contribute will go a long ways in helping us in this fight. Link in the description below.